So the Green Bay Packers got their first win today in over a month. Yes, even though they moved to 3-1-1, it is their first win in over a month. Easily the worst month I've had in a long time. But in fact, this weekend was just exactly what I needed. My Brewers moved to the NLCS. My Packers got a victory over the Cincinnati Bengals. And I'm just finishing up now watching the Milwaukee Bucks win a preseason game against the Bulls. So this is exactly what I needed. Green Bay Packers, like I said, get their first win in over a month. Like I said, over the Cincinnati Bengals. And just a quick recap of the game. This is exactly how it went. You get the point. Yeah, it was just unbelievable stuff. They got a win over the now 2-4 Bengals, 27-18. It's I'm going in this game. I just wanted, the point spread favorite in Vegas. I believe they were like a 14-point spread winner. They still won by 2 scores. Didn't hit that, but all I wanted was just win it. If it was by 1 point, a field goal at the end, I don't care because they weren't going against Jake Browning at quarterback. They were going against Joe Flacco, a guy that they went against already this season when he was on the Cleveland Browns. When they went into Cleveland and absolutely choked on that game and lost that game, ironically, I think it's Cleveland's only win of the season. Still after week 5, 6, whatever it is, just unbelievable stuff. But thankfully, Green Bay win pretty soundly today. I will be honest, there was a point where I was like, in the first half, I was dozing off. It was just it wasn't the most exciting game at all. It was just very meh up until the second half when Cincinnati started implementing all their stuff. Joe Flacco felt more comfortable today. I think I saw he only had like 20 passing yards in the first half and then finished the game with 219. So he found something in that defense that he exploited, and I'm just so glad to be done with Joe Flacco. Just Joe Flacco having like these just stupid games against the Packers. I'm just so glad for it to be over. But moving on to the Packers offense, Jordan Love had a great game today. Besides for the one pick that we'll talk about, but he had a great game overall, 19 for 26, 259 yards, including what I thought was the big key of his game today was the runnings. 7 carries for 26 yards. Multiple of them were on third downs and converting first downs with his legs, something that wasn't a thing last year. In fact, through 5 games this year, he already has more rushing yards than he did all of last season with that pulled groin that he had going on last year. So I think that's just going to do wonders for this offense, that he can scramble out. You saw I'm kind of jumping ahead, but you saw in that final play that really sealed the game for the Packers was Love scrambling out of the pocket, throwing a beautiful dart pass to Matthew Golden, who had a great game, to get like a big 20-yard gain to set up, what would be a nice field goal for the Packers to kind of seal the win. But that's just the type of stuff that you need from Jordan Love, is for him to be well on his feet, scrambling, just getting better. For sure, he's having his best season so far as a pro, but I still think there's so much for him to improve on, and I know he would say that. I know Matt would say that. I know the entire Green Bay fan base would say that. There's so much more he could be, and yet he's for sure having the best season of his young career, but it could always be better, and it all goes back to that ugly interception. It was just very Brett Favre, like him trying to make a throw, he scrambled out, trying to, instead of just chucking one away and just, capping, tipping your cap to the defense, he just tries to make a play to Romeo Doubs, who was covered. And not only was he covered, the ball was tipped, and then the guy behind him on defense intercepted the ball. Just Stuff like that just needs to be cleaned up, but I do like how the way Jordan responded and has responded this season. Only a second interception of the year too in 5 games, so very very good stuff by him. Like to see, love to see how Jordan's progressing so far. Um, Moving on to who I think was the MVP on offense, Josh Jacobs. Finally got him going today. 18 carries, 93 yards, including 2 touchdowns. The second touchdown, that man, I would be, if I was on defense, I would be scared shitless trying to meet him in the fucking A gap. He is just an absolute beast, and easily one of my favorite Packers. And he's, you know, I'm an Aaron Jones stan. I'm on Green stan, but he is right up there as well with them. He's just his mentality, the way he runs, the way he even described it as he wants guys to be scared of him as he's running because he knows he's strong. He knows he's a little bowling ball, and especially when Green Bay starts to get cold here pretty soon, it's gonna be guys are gonna be hesitant to tackle this guy, and that's exactly what Green Bay needs. And it was nice to see him get going. So 93 yards rushing, 2 touchdowns today, including leading. He was second in receptions and receiving yards today with 5 catches, 57 yards. Good stuff by him. Absolutely, you know, it was nice to see him get going with the offensive line, who has been struggling. Easily the biggest weakness so far in this offense this year is this mashup of the offensive line. It's just been so frustrating. I feel like at any moment it could just get blown up. You saw it today. Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan were flipping back and forth at the right guard position. Started off, I believe, with Sean Ryan as the starting guard. And then second drive, Jordan Morgan, first round pick, comes in. And kind of everything that I'm hearing is I think Jordan Morgan might have sealed that position. But, knowing next week against Arizona, I know Matt so well, he's going to just keep flipping it. And he wants to find the best guy that week. And they're just going to keep rotating. That's just what Green Bay does, for better or for worse, whether fans agree or disagree. So that's just how it is. But it was nice to see that the offensive line only had 1 sack against Jordan, I believe, today. So that was really nice to see that, the Cincinnati Bengals don't really have, good pass rush besides Trey Hendrickson, but who I believe got injured in the second or third quarter. And I don't even know if he finished the game, but it was nice to see that only hold, the Bengals to 1 sack. I'll definitely take that any day of the week, and I think Jordan would too. It was a really nice game by Matthew Golden and Romeo Doubs. That was your 2 main wide receivers doing work today. No Christian Watson this week, but hoping to have him next week against Arizona, which I think is just going to light, just open so many doors for this offense. I just can't wait to see what Christian Watson can bring with Matthew Golden, and Romeo Doubs and Dontavian Wicks all in the field. He's, I think, the missing ingredient, including Jaden Reed, who hopefully we'll have back by maybe December. But once all these guys get back, that's what you really hope and look for and be excited about as Green Bay Packers fans. But it was really nice to see Golden him and Dobbs just have great hands. And it's really nice to see after last season, having the most drops last year. It was really nice to, see these guys just make catches. That's why you draft Matthew Golden in the first round this year. First wide receiver drafted by the Green Bay Packers since 2002, Javon Walker. He made some catches today. 3 catches, 86 yards. Romeo Doubs, 5 catches, 55 yards. Really great stuff. One guy who had a touchdown today, Tucker Kraft, 2 catches, 43 yards, including that touchdown, like I said, that was 24 yards long. We need to see him. We can't see him only have 2 targets all day. He needs to be at minimum 5 targets. This is a dynamic piece to this offense. he has that Josh Jacobs effect. He has that psycho mentality where he's gonna be trying to get as much yak as possible, and he wants to run through guys. And he's the epitome of what um, you want on the Green Bay Packers, because especially when the snow comes and the cold comes, like we want these big bruisers catching the ball, running down the field, just smashing dudes on the defense. So although he had a touchdown today, but it's Matt really needs to target Tucker Kraft more. Whatever he's got to do, 2 catches is not enough. He needs to be at least in that 5 to 6 range, without a doubt. Um, Weird game overall, though. It was, like I said, 10-0 at halftime, and then all of a sudden, Bengals come out. In the second half, they received the ball, and they had a 10-minute drive, 17 plays, which led to a touchdown. Um, Green Bay didn't touch the ball in the second half until there was like 4 minutes and 50 seconds left. Just, I don't know if I've ever seen that before. Like, I've seen, 8-minute drives, 6, 7, 8, 9-minute drives, but to 10 minutes, 10 minutes into the third quarter, and the offense gets the ball back, it was just, Flacco just, beat up our defense that drive, 17 plays, those guys. I hate to say it, but I think I might have crowned this defense way too fast after those first 2 weeks of the season. Obviously, they're going to get better, but it's just, the sacks aren't there. We only had 1 sack today. LVN, ironically, got that only sack today, which was a beautiful jump. He just had a perfect timed snap, and was able to get to the quarterback, Joe, so fast. It was really great to see Lucas Van Ness get it. But that being said, like, he timed it so beautifully and perfectly, but like it seems like that's the only way he's ever gonna get sacks. He's never gonna just because he just bull rushes guys. He's never gonna have a quick move, or have a nice stunt to get a sack. It's just, he's just got to be as perfect as possible, and that's how he gets a sack. So that's kind of frustrating, which ironically, he did get hurt today, I guess, in his foot. So TBD what's going to happen. I guess he's going to have an MRI tomorrow. But, Micah Parsons had 3 tackles today. Was getting chipped all day, held, the last play of the game, he's getting fucking tackled to the ground. Refs don't call it. It's just status quo here in the NFL. The edge of darkness, Edgerrin Cooper led the team in tackles with 11 total. Quay Walker was the second leading tackler with 8, who is, give credit where credit's due. Quay is having a nice season. It's not like all pro level, but he's having a really nice season, and he's having a season that you need from Quay Walker, without a doubt. He's just been steady, doing his job, leading the defense. He's the green dot. Love what Quay Walker's doing, and I'm very curious to see if they're going to give him an extension. The stuff that I'm hearing is they're working on it right now, but it's all hearsay until it's actually official. I'm very curious to see if they give that extension to Quay Walker. And in my opinion, I think you got to, wait a few more games, or maybe till the end of the season, and then, you just need, you would like to see a even bigger jump from Quay Walker in order for him to get that extension. But nonetheless, having a great year so far. Shout out to the MVP on special teams today. Brandon McManus apparently had an injury this week and was questionable all week. And even though he said he wanted to play, ultimately did not get a chance to play. And Packers had to sign a dude who was trying out with them this week, and his name's Lucas Havrisk. I'm definitely butchering that, so I apologize, but MVP of the game, made 2 field goals. One was like a 40-yarder, one was, maybe a 30 or 40-yarder as well, and then made all of his extra points, all 3 of them. So big key of the game, because there was one point where Packers were only up by 6, and Bengals had the ball, and they're driving, and it wasn't looking good there for a minute. And I was like, oh, I was literally watching the Browns game all over again. It was just like the most Packers thing ever. It's like I don't know if they're like the best bad team in the NFL or they're like the worst good team in the NFL. It's Packers are not where they're definitely not where they need to be going into the playoffs, but that's the beauty of it. We're only at week 5, or I guess technically week 6, because Packers had a bye. But they're 3-1-1, and I think any Green Bay Packers fans would have taken 3-1-1. Now you go into Arizona next week, who is down bad right now. I think they're 2-4. Jacoby Brissett was the starting quarterback this week. I think by next week Kyler Murray should be starting, but it's going to be a game that Green Bay should win. But they gotta definitely play better than what they did today, because in my opinion, if this game was played in Cincinnati, I don't know if Green Bay wins this one, to be honest. Jamar Chase absolutely went off. I mean, Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, without a doubt. That's all. Flacco came in, with basically 3 days to prepare, and he's like, I'm just going to throw to Jamar Chase, who had 10 catches, 94 yards, and a touchdown. And the touchdown that Jamar Chase had, unbelievable shit. I think he's probably the best wide receiver in the game, without a doubt. Justin Jefferson's great. Amon-Ra St. Brown's great. Matthew Golden's great. But Jamar Chase, he is him. And a guy, Keyshawn Nixon, who had a great game today, I think he had such great coverage against Jamar Chase. But that being said, Jamar Chase is absolutely elite and still had 10 catches and 94 yards. That being said, Green Bay got the win today. Thank you so much. Absolutely needed this. I couldn't go another week with the Packers not winning. Just feels so weird to say they haven't won in a month, even though they are now 3-1-1. Sorry for the missed video last week. I was busy, but should be making more videos going forward. Thank you guys so much for watching this, as always, and would love for you guys to like and comment what's your thoughts about this game down below. Who do you think is going to be winning the NFC North this year? Who's the favorite? Is it going to be Green Bay? Is it going to be Detroit? Looks like they're currently losing right now to the Kansas City Chiefs, but a lot of ball game left. Chicago Bears 2-2. Minnesota Vikings toss-up team. We'll see what happens when J.J. McCarthy comes back, but I want you guys to tell me who's winning the NFC North this year through Week 6. I'd be very curious to see what you guys write. So, as always, thank you guys so much, and I appreciate you guys so much. I appreciate you guys so much, right? And thank you so much, and go Pack, go.